Hey peeps, this is Jake, your friendly obsessor of Percy Jackson, bringing you my third Percy Jackson video. So have y'all ever just been doing homework really badly and just man, I wish I wasn't doing homework, so you go make a YouTube video? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But today I wanted to talk about the god of messengers and merchants and thieves and travelers and a bajillion other things, and apparently the creator of the internet in the Percy Jackson universe. So whichever mortal dude out there is claiming to create the internet, nah fam, it was Hermes, and you can't tell me anything different. So yeah, I wanted to talk about Hermes and Percy Jackson and the Olympians books, specifically Hermes as a padre, as a father. Which I think we should open up with saying the standards of being a parent, if you're a god, is not that high. I mean, basically all you gotta do is claim that they're your son or daughter. Occasionally send them a dream, or maybe if you're nice, drop by in person, which I know is, wow, who would do that? And maybe give them a magic item if you really like them, you know? So yeah, the standard is not that high. So if you're a bad godly parent, Zeus, you're just a scumbag. I mean, even Dionysus is a good godly parent in terms of he cares about his children. I mean, that's pretty much all you gotta do is just care about your kids. I mean, Dionysus kind of saved Pollux, was it? Which one died? I think it was Castor, but because the other one in the Last Olympian, had a broken arm and wanted to fight anyway, but Dionysus told Percy to tell him to sit the heck down, dude, and just don't die. So he kind of saved his own kid. So good on you, Dionysus. I know this video is about Hermes, but good on you. You did good. So yeah, but I think godly standard wise, Hermes is a good father. Okay, so I know he kind of wasn't there for him. No, not kind of. He was not there for them growing up, and May had a bunch of stuff going on. He wasn't there for May, so that's bad. And honestly, my pretty much biggest problem with Hermes is that he never, ever addresses the Stoll brothers or anyone else of his kids. Luke is not your only kid, dude. There's more Hermes kids out there. So, feel free to say hi to them when you want. But yeah, I mean, I guess Luke is kind of the big, kind of just, whoo, man, that kid, big topic of discussion, big just kind of cloud in the family that you got to pay attention to, or else it's, but that's the thing, he actually doesn't have to pay attention to him in a way, because he knows what's going to happen to Luke. Hermes does. He knows what's going to happen to Luke. But has to let that play out. Oh, he actually does. It's not oh, Hermes, you just chose to let that play out. He had to let it play out so that Luke could end up killing Cronus by stabbing himself in his Achilles spot. So he had to let that out. And now, which would be terrible for Hermes? Your kid is going to your kid is going to do really bad stuff, but that he's going to have to end up saving the world anyway by dying. That would stink. And having to just let it happen, I mean, that would be awful. But even through all that, Hermes does care about Luke. I mean, I don't think that's disputable by any means. For instance, when we first see him in Sea of Monsters, he's already talking about Luke. So he helps Percy go, he convinces Percy to go on his quest and in Sea of Monsters, and gives him the thermos and the multivitamins. Which, can we talk about the thermos real fast? Just real fast. So, how the thermos, it's cold on the north side or whatever, and Percy's yo, this is a compass. And Hermes is oh really? I never thought of that. Now, he may have been being sarcastic, but I don't think it was. So if he really did not know that his thermos was also a compass, I mean, there's low-key theme in Percy Jackson of major dudes not knowing the extent of the abilities of all their items. Percy doesn't know that his pen, sword, can write. Percy, bless your soul. And then Hermes, the immortal god Hermes, who has lived for like a crap ton of years, millennia, doesn't know that his thermos can also be used as a compass. Okay. We love you guys. But anyway, the important part of this is that Hermes does care about Luke. He gets Percy to go and he tells him, like, dude, you gotta try to help Luke here. I mean, I know he's a crazy dude, but you cannot give up on family. You gotta go help Luke. And Percy kind of does try. I mean, he's like, dude, you know, Hermes sent us, he cares, all this stuff. And Luke's like, he abandoned me! He's like, okay, dude, chill. But the point is, as Hermes stated in the end of Sea of Monsters, that Percy did communicate with Luke. He did let Luke know. Like, kind of reminded him of who he was. I think is what Hermes says. And Hermes says, you know, families are messy. Immortal families are eternally messy. But, like, you can't really give up on it. You have to try to keep the killing to a minimal. Okay, good strat. So, yeah, but the main part of this, as I said, is that Hermes does care about Luke, which is a lot more than I can say for a bunch of you gods. Zeus. But yeah, so like pretty much the list of gods that actually care about their kids is not that long. It's like Poseidon, Hermes, Hephaestus, Dionysus, or Dionysius, however you people pronounce it. I pronounce it Dionysus, and I'm not going to change because I've been pronouncing it that way for like forever. But if I'm offending you, I'm sorry. Occasionally Athena, Artemis. I'm just kidding. She doesn't have kids. But yeah, so the list is not that long, but Hermes definitely does care about his kids. So much so that like when Percy insults him and says like, dude, you abandoned Luke in like the last book, Hermes is about to like destroy Percy. Like he's like, dude, if you didn't have the curse of Achilles, curse of Achilles, and like wasn't the fate's hands, I'd totally blast you right now with my caduceus, however you pronounce that. And so yeah, and he's super mad at Annabeth, you know, for not going with Luke, you know, in San Francisco. So yeah, I mean and that's kind of another, I feel like when you care about something, you know, it's all types of emotions come out, you know, love, hope, anger, and Hermes has definitely shown all three of those throughout. And so yeah, I mean, it's really rough, you know, what Hermes had to do, like letting his Luke go. And I think the thing about Hermes is when he is with Luke, like that one time he meets Luke, he totally blows it. Like when Luke comes in the vision, when Luke comes to May's house in Connecticut, Hermes totally blows it. I mean, he just tells him to leave, like straight up. Not like, hey son, I love you, how you doing? I haven't seen you in like forever. Hey, I'm Hermes, I'm your pop. No, he's just like, leave, you shouldn't be here. And then brings up his destiny, which, dude, why'd you do that? Like, the one thing you don't need to tell Luke right now, like, is his destiny. And then, you know, like, your parents ever do this to you? Like, when they mention, like, hey, dude, like, hey, son or daughter, there's something going on, or I need to tell you something, but I can't tell you right now, I'll tell you later. And you're like, no, tell me now. You can't just bring it up and then not say anything. It's so annoying. But Hermes, that is exactly what Hermes does. Like, bro, this kid is already messed up. I mean, he's traveling the world. His mom is going, like, loopy because of all this great mayhem. And you're just going to bring up his destiny and be like, nah, I can't tell you. And Luke is like, dude, no, you seriously need to tell me. And Hermes like, no, you know, it's okay. You know, you need to go to Camp Half-Blood. I'll get Chiron and send you a satyr. And I'll make you go on a quest. Maybe you can go in the Garden of the Hesperides or something. Which is, like, not what Luke needed, like, in turn. Like, he did need to go to camp. And so doing that, Hermes doing that was good. But, like, Hermes I just don't think he just didn't know how to be a father. Is the thing. So it's kind of complicated because in his fatherly moments he failed, but he loved Luke, which, you know, all fathers need to do. So like I said, the standards of being a parent as being a god is not super duper high, but even past when Luke died, I mean, Hermes kind of turned around and said, you know, I shouldn't have been mad at Annabeth. I had to let it happen, but he died thinking that I didn't care about him, and for that, I will never forgive myself. So Hermes definitely knew he did make some mistakes along the way, knew he had some bad emotions, or maybe could have handled things better with Luke, and which I think is just interesting, because Hermes kind of seems like the most human of the gods, which, like, obviously the gods aren't really human, but Hermes kind of like reconciles in a way with everything that's happened and just has to let it go on. And I know he's there for you one moment and then he's super mad the other, but at the end he recognizes what happens and all that stuff. So I think, you know, Hermes is just a really good complex character, even though he's not in there that much. But like I said, I think for godly standards, Hermes is as good of a dad. Well, not as good as a dad as he could be. Like I said, he could have handled that moment with Luke better, but he cared, and I think that's the most important thing. And he did try along the way to help Luke get back on his path. And like, he knew Annabeth would be a part of that, so that's why he was so mad at her. And to go back to the Sea of Monsters real fast, I think it's interesting that, you know, if he knew Luke's fate and knew that what was going to happen, like, why would sending Percy on the quest really make a difference? And I think maybe it was because he knew Annabeth would be on that quest with Percy, and that maybe she could make a difference because it was his, because he knew that she would have an impact. I don't know. It's interesting. Point of discussion. But yeah, so it's really stinky how things went down, but I think, like I said, Hermes is a really good character, and that whole storyline with him and Luke was interesting. And I hope that Luke knew that Hermes did love him in the end, and that he really did never give up on him, even though he was kind of forced to stay away. You know, to end it with, I just want to talk about how stupid the ancient laws are, that you have to freaking stay away from your kids. Like, that is dumb. Whoever came up with that, which I think was the Fates, that's really stupid. That, like, you make, like, the gods, they can have kids, but they can't be a parent, pretty much. Like, they can't interfere. Like, the gods can be, like, in a million different places at one time. You're telling me not one of your beings, like, not one of your presences or whatever, can be with your kid, like, at least, like, a couple times a year? Like, that's dumb, but yeah, it is what it is. I hope we get to see more Hermes in the Trials of Apollo. I don't really know how he would come in, but I do miss him. I really liked his character. Probably, I think, in the Percy Jackson Olympians books, he's probably like my second favorite god. I would say Poseidon was my favorite. But yeah, I'd say Hermes probably second favorite, and really good character for sure. So, thank you for listening to me ramble about this. If you stuck with me, really appreciate it. Really, really, really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good day.